Hello everyone, this is SmartMatch TV. Welcome back. And today I'm just gonna go straight forward and introduce Jacqueline Nichols to you. She has been a customer of SmartMatchApp for a few years, since 2022, I believe. And she has a story to tell about how she uses SmartMatch and how she actually built a matchmaking business successfully and sold it for six figures. There are tips and advice for matchmakers that you can use to do the same. So stay tuned, and we're gonna cover all the details in this interview. Jacqueline, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Nice to see your
Crazy.
smile. Yeah, in a good mood. Let's get started, Jacqueline. First of all, I would love to ask you, basically, first of all, I ask everyone the same question, and it never gets boring. How did you get into this amazing and very special matchmaking industry?
It's such a crazy experience that I've gone through. It was 2010 when I started my matchmaking, and I'm spiritually gifted. So for many years previous, people had come to me for a spiritual reading and they wanted me to guide them to who they should be with. And in doing so, it attracts people that were meant to be together. And as I was doing this, I would give people advice on where's my soulmate, what should I do? And then finally I was like, people need help. They're not doing the homework I'm giving them. They're not just focused on that. They need somebody to kind of pull the pieces together. So then I had a couple of personal things come up in my life and I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go just do this. And literally I just up and decided to do the business in 1 week time. After I'd played with the idea for a couple of years, thought, wouldn't that be fun? Maybe I could do this. I feel called to it, but I don't know what to do. I just made the decision, and a week later I had a business. And literally I put everything up on the website. I got a discount code for the website and the domain. And my dad was a lawyer and connected people to do the paperwork. So I started my business with less than $100 in my bank. And that was really powerful. And I sent an email to all of my spiritual clients and said, hey, you guys win. I'm going to do this matchmaking thing to support you to find your love through more spiritual guidance. And I took a walk with my kids to the grocery store. And mind you, I had just gone through a divorce. Financially, I was completely strapped, and I wanted people to have a better relationship dynamic. And so that's why I wanted to pour energy into supporting people. And from the walk down to the grocery store, which is maybe 6 to 10 blocks, I pick out my phone out of my wallet, telling my kids we only had about $20 to get groceries because I was super tight. And then I had thousands of dollars in my bank account just in a little walk, because all these people have been waiting for me to start my business. And I literally pull out my phone and go, where's all this money coming from? Why are people paying me? I had forgotten I just emailed them about my new business. So when you follow your passion, people will follow right behind you and celebrate. So it completely changed my life around financially. And then it took off where I was matching people. Many of the couples I've matched are still together 10 years plus years later. So it's pretty amazing that when you make a decision, the ripple effect.
Taking my glasses off.
Yeah.
This is getting super interesting.
Yeah, it's a very different story.
It's an inspiring story. I think matchmaking industry, and there is statistics there. The reports are online, easy to find. It's growing. It's gonna pass 3 billion or even 4 billion, I think, in 2030. And I think we know why. More than ever feel disconnected.
Yeah.
People more than ever seek communities. They want to belong to communities where they can find people with similar interests.
Yeah.
And obviously, to me, that matchmaking also will kind of it will probably be also broken into niches, sub niches, if you wish, where people who are interested more in spiritual topics or spiritual improvement will be seeking similar partners. Am I wrong? Is this what you're seeing?
For sure. COVID really messed up dating. Each year there was a significant different type of dating that happened, and relationship and coaching and business flow that was actually pretty universal. I have a wonderful matchmaker friend in Greece, and she was dealing with the exact same type of people in a completely different country. So it really showed the variance that was going on and that ripple effect. And this is the first full year that I feel like we're fully functioning and getting back to dating, but the burnout hit, and a lot of people just dated poorly or lost a lot of time. So they're realizing they need a professional involved. I'm more spiritual based, where I had clients come for an angel session and then I would attract that person. But then when I've had other matchmakers, I had to teach them how to do it on a more practical level, but also pull into the intuition, because people want a deeper level of connection.
People want a deeper level of connection. That's it. That's what it is. And
What
it's
it
not
is.
so it's not so easy. So what kind of, I know you told me just recently that you are now transitioning from an active matchmaking business because you just sold your matchmaking practice,
Right.
as we just said in the beginning, for 6 figures. Congratulations.
Mhm.
And now you own JacquelineNichols.com.
Mhm.
So you're a consultant for love
Right.
and business. So let's talk about that. So where are you going now with all this experience, with
Yeah,
all
it's a lot.
knowledge, and from this successful career, 15 years in matchmaking business? What's your next endeavor? What's your next journey?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for asking that. When I knew that I was hitting a point where I was ready for something different, but I also was so passionate about the work, and I'm very attached to my clientele and really caring about them, and made that decision. It was time to sell. It was like a year ago when I made the decision. And then I decided to create a program that was turnkeyable. Like I could get somebody in there and it would flow much better, so it wouldn't be disrupted. And then when that decision happened, I actually sold it extremely quickly because I was clear on what I wanted and I had something for them. And then I realized, hold on, I have something that's working so well for my new owner that I need to teach more people how to do this. Too many matchmakers aren't successful, or they're just not actually getting results. And it becomes a very all-encompassing. There were definitely times I worked way too many hours. So what I have is the ability to teach people how to build their own 6-figure, and that when they're ready to retire or take a break or sell it to somebody else, it's actually able to be sold. When you use the SmartMatchApp, it allows for all that information to be organized really nicely and the systems to be ready. And so it's about creating the step-by-step on a matchmaker level that intertwines with the software. So it's actually been really nice. So I've got a lot of people that I used to teach how to be a matchmaker to early in my career, but I never had the full package to give them. So now that I have sold the business, and the new owner jumped right in and just kept the wave going, there was no disruption, where it would be a lot more tricky for other situations because people are so attached to the matchmaker. And then I also do spiritual coaching, and I do workshops and courses on vision boards from an angel perspective, and how to look at things in a different manifestation. And then I teach how to clear out your home from an angel's perspective. And then I'm going to be implementing a lot more of my dating advice angel-wise, because I've had over the years a lot of people that came to me for spiritual guidance, relationship coaching, but I did it in little increments and it was very one-on-one. And so now I want to create something that people who want on a more spiritual, they really want that soul connection, and not just somebody who checks off the boxes and creates a space for them to have a partnership, but they don't really feel it. What I have been so shocked is how many people have come to me over the years and they never were ever really in love. They might have had multiple kids with somebody, a long-term marriage. Maybe they've had 2 or 3 marriages, but they've never really been deeply in love. And I want to change that. People deserve to fully be in love. They deserve to love and be loved and build a loving relationship, but it's just not what happens. People
Hold on a second. That is
it's huge.
okay. They have never been in love. Can we
Really in
stay?
love.
Can we stay on this point a little bit? So, how old? At what age?
These are people in their 50s, 60s. I've even had 70-year-old people that were married 30 plus years and they never really loved their partner. They just kind of kept being together. And it's upsetting because I ask it all the time. It is. It's completely mind-boggling. And it's sad because you're never fully yourself if you don't have that partner that lets you just collapse and be who you are.
let's unpack it. So and before we move to the smart match and technology and
Yeah.
how to build matchmaking business, the mechanics of it, I want to also cover that. But I mean, how much better the world would be if people were much more satisfied with their love life, with
Yeah.
their personal relationships, with their family, with their marriage.
Exactly.
Isn't it what the matchmaking is all about? And I hear this all the time. Matchmaking, the actual process of introduction, is
Hmm.
just one component.
Right.
The other big component is personal journey.
Yeah.
So you have a very unique perspective. You start from spirituality.
Hmm.
I would be fool not to pause here and dive
Yeah.
into it. Give me an example, please. Give me no need to name anyone, but give me an example where a client comes to you with this very, I would say, very big problem, in my opinion. So many years not in love,
Hmm.
they come to you with this problem. How do you help them? How you start from this and get them to a place where they are in love, or they
Yeah.
know how to be in love. I guess if it's a good word, if they know they're in love.
Hmm.
For 30 years, you probably forgot what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
Maybe
interesting.
hopefully they knew they had when we're 18, there's that tingling sort of like a feeling, your first love. Maybe they had that. Hopefully they had that, and then they maybe forgot the whole thing. Just walk me through this, because this is going to be invaluable for
Yeah.
people with a similar problem.
It's fascinating where a lot of people actually didn't get that high school love. I had a high school sweetheart, so I thought everybody else did. And I will say, if you haven't had a love tingly high school, college, mid-20s thing, you might miss the boat of taking advantage of that. Then you get two in your head, you miss out on the chances. But you don't have to. And that's why taking the time to really get within yourself and asking what you really want and being vulnerable. We've created a world where people are scared to be vulnerable. Excuse me. And what I find that's so important is that, like, I had a lady, she was in her early mid 60s. She hired me probably January, February time, came in. I had a Meet the Matchmaker event, and she had heard about my spiritual gift. And so I said, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about what I do, blah, blah, blah. She signed up right there at the event at my highest level and says, I heard I was supposed to be able to trust you. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this, but I want my soulmate. I really want my person. And I've already been married twice. One was a divorce. One was the person passed. They were lovely people, but it was never really my person, and that's the thing. We spend time with great people, but not our person. And so I had her, she signed up for the membership. It's a year package at that time. And then I said, okay, let's start with an angel session. So I do a private session where I tap into their energy and give them information. I have a gift of connecting. I call my 4 fat cherubs on my right side. So I visually look over and I get these crazy messages. And so while I'm having this session with her, I said, okay, well, I'm seeing that your guy isn't actually coming till the end of June, like 26 was actually the date that I got. And she goes, but it's the beginning of the year. I want him now. And I said, well, that's great. He's not ready for you yet, but do you want me to match you with other people? And she's like, sure, yeah, why not? And I said, okay, great. I've got other people. But every time I matched her, I said, this guy's great. He's wonderful, but he's not your person. But I want you to be open. You never know. Maybe he becomes your person because there's things. So, she didn't just wait for this mystery man to appear. She still participated, and she'd leave the date and go, oh, he was very nice, but yeah, I didn't really feel anything. And I said, yeah, I didn't think it, but I want to give you the options. And then one day this gentleman walks into my office for his consultation. I do a private, introduction of comp time, 30 or 60 minute based on the membership. And the whole time sitting there, all I could do is hear her name. I mean, the angels were so loud saying her name. I was like, what? Be quiet. Maybe somebody else, I should introduce. And then at the end, the consultation of our conversation, I realized the date was the date that they were supposed to meet. And that was the date that I had been told months ago for him. So I have this crazy gift. Yes. But then when I introduced them for their first date, I said, I met your man. He has arrived exactly when I told you he was coming. And she's like, really? Wow. Okay. That's kind of crazy. And then they went on their date and had a nice time. And I asked her about the date later. And her response was, well, I don't know if I want to go out again. He didn't hang up my coat and he didn't pull out my chair. And I was like, really? You're going to let that stop you? And so there's one thing to say you really want something, but it's another thing to block it when it shows up, even when you've got somebody who's your spiritual guide telling you this is your person. And so I said, too bad, you're going out again. And they got married a year later, and they are still married beautifully. And they're always like making out when they come to my parties, and they're just so in love. It's beautiful. And he still refers to her as his bride.
And so many times I hear the same story, that if it wasn't for the matchmaker, if it wasn't for your advice, they would pass on. They would literally pass on their best match, their life of the love of their life, the match of their life. That's a wonderful story, and it's a very unique story. You have a gift.
Yeah.
You have a unique gift. And are you still, you're going to obviously continue on that journey. That's why
I'm still doing angel work. I'm just moving to where I'm going to start creating more courses that are angel led, where the angels are giving me downloads of what they want me to teach. And it's opening up people in a way that I haven't been able to, because I had to kind of stay with a little more professional, proper formula when I was running the agency because of the high level caliber of clientele. But I had people constantly coming and saying, I want the spiritual angle of it. I want a little something extra. So I still support in my owner. But that was actually the whole process. My angels told me one weekend it was time to sell the business. And I reached out the next day to a couple connections to see, well, how am I going to find somebody to do this? Let's just see. I was just ready. And then the next day, I was reading a Facebook post, and there was a gal that I had actually done Mary Kay Cosmetics with 20 years ago. We've just kept in touch social media. I haven't seen this gal in well over 20 years. And she made a post about meeting her husband and the journey later in life, finding love after having been married to somebody else and had a kid previously. And I'm reading the post, and my angels are like, that's your new owner. And I'm like, do you think Rhonda wants to buy my business? I don't even know what she's doing. She just made a great post. So I took a walk, I came back, and I still had the feeling. And I sent her 2 little 1-minute messages, because in Facebook, you can only leave a little message if you haven't talked to somebody recently. And that's how it had been so long since we talked. And I said, I have no idea what you're doing with your life, but I've just been told spiritually, you're supposed to own my business. 12 days later, she bought my agency for 6 figures. That was the power of owning your decisions.
But let me try to digest this. Does it mean that when we talk about being spiritual or ability to connect with your angels, does it mean you have this developed sense of your own and sensitivity to your own intuition, to your paying attention to your to what your intuition tells you? Is that what it is when we talk about? Because some people say, "Oh, spiritual is a big word."
It's a very big, broad word.
It's a very broad word. It's like a word like love. What's love, right?
Exactly.
Spiritual is a big word, but in your world, when you are creating courses, and
I was born with this. I'm very different. I think I have some lesions on my brain that actually push pressure points on it, but my children all have a spiritual gift too. And I think I got it from my mom. She just died too young for me to confirm.
Is it teachable? Can you teach that?
Teach the intuitive level, and that's what I do. Mostly what I have found that people come to me for the angel guidance is that the angels give me a lesson to teach them in the way that they will understand. So visually, I literally see 4 fat cherubs up in my right side. It's kind of crazy. These 4 little fat guys are dancing over here all the time. And I get messages, and when I was younger, it would be really loud. I had to put my hands over my ears, put my head between my legs. It was really, really loud. And then I got to where it was kind of like a radio station tuning is what it is for me. So I get extremely detailed, telling my client, your man isn't ready till June, and she has to trust in what I'm doing, which was good because it worked, but also we have free will. We can change our course at any point. So what I teach is how to listen to their messages. So yes, mine is going to be at a insanely crazy octave level, but everybody has these messages coming around. And so I teach a lot about how to look for the signs. Like I have my necklace with 3 4s on it. When you see 3 4s, it's the angel's high five. It's their way of saying you're on course. You can choose whatever numbers you want. These are the numbers that have been kind of universally known. But I teach clients to learn to look for the clues, because it's just like right now I'm living in Mexico. I don't know the language. I do not speak Spanish, but I understand a lot of what's being said because of the body language, because of the energy that they're projecting. So I can, translate it in my own way. It's a similar way to look at this. When we tune into what's coming, we have to be hearing it from a fresh perspective. The problem is, society has us so programmed to expect certain types of conversations and predestined outcomes that we don't get a fresh way. So when people listen from my angel-led workshops, it's blowing their minds what I'm saying because no one's ever taught the way that I teach, but then it creates a foundation for them to work from. So we need a core anchor that's new, because unfortunately there's a lot of wackadoodles out there. There's a lot of woo-woo people that are giving really wrong information and don't have a support structure to balance people out. Does that make a little bit of sense?
It does make a little bit of sense, but it's really exciting for me to hear that there are people with your talent, and I don't think there are many, that are working in this industry.
Yeah.
You are obviously probably gonna still either refer people to your
for sure.
Your matchmaking business, for sure, right? So even if you're not gonna do active matchmaking, you're probably gonna refer it. And what is interesting for me, that you can probably teach other matchmakers who are watching this show, or work with other matchmakers. They can come to you and maybe get their clients to consult with you. I would recommend that, because I find that we all need to learn how to listen to our own intuition, how to open, I guess, if it's a good word, to open our chakras, to listen to ourselves.
Yes.
And that is, I think it's a powerful gift to have, but it's teachable in at least in some element. Right. And in our show, we get people who watch it who are just singles and looking for love, looking for lifetime relationship and matchmakers who are also looking for tips and also interesting stories like yours. Let's talk to matchmakers about how you built your business. Now, more mechanical stuff, like you have a unique model, and I know it because you use SmartMatchApp, which is very customizable, which is a plus and a minus.
Right.
For some matchmakers who are not really interested in technology experimentation, it's a minus because they just want something simple and ready to use right away. For other matchmakers who are looking for technology and have the time and inclination to use the technology to their full advantage, then they can really do some very interesting workflows and business models with SmartMatch.
Right.
So, and I know this from our previous conversation. So would you be kind enough to explain how did you use technology to build this unique model that allowed you to create a very successful, unique matchmaking business?
Yeah. And it became a turnkey business that I was able to give to somebody who isn't a psychic and isn't, able to do the spiritual part. And she was able to start the business without a hiccup at all. She made 5 figures her first month as the new owner because all the systems were ready to go and in place. And that's what's so great.
I tell you, there are many matchmakers who would love to make that and more income from matchmaking business. The demand is there. The question is to put together all the pieces. That's what we're doing here in the show.
Exactly.
Inspiring and sharing possible and how. So let's dive into this. We have time to dive into the details of the mechanics.
Completely. I think it's wonderful. It's exactly why I created a course on teaching matchmakers to do this, because it is so important to have the support systems to know what you need to do next. Just as a breakdown, you start off with on the website, it has your wonderful opt-in form, and that really helps that I have the form right there. We get regular leads. Google, I don't think I've ever really paid for leads. Sometimes I did stuff just out of curiosity, but 99.9% of the business has been 100% organic. And so I do have a strong SEO, but that's not something I even do much to. One friend of mine put together a few, but people are searching for this information. So it really helps. You got to get the website with the right SEO in it, and then with your opt-in page. And then by having that, they put their name and email and one picture and how they learned about the agency. And then it takes them to the welcome email. So your software is great because it has that instant welcome email. And then in that email, I explain our two main programs. And in that, it really helps because they know what's next. Too often, and I did it early in my career, I had too many packages, too many options going on. So then once they're in there, the consultation is the main thing. It's a 1-hour virtual appointment with the matchmaker where we ask everything and obsess on the client to learn. But because of the software, they've already filled out the profile and all those questions are in there. And I customized and put some new questions in there that were important to me as the matchmaker to know more unique things. I wanted to make sure that the questions weren't the same you'd see on a dating site. You have to reprogram the client to not feel like they're just filling out another dating profile. So you have to be careful, and those questions have to be unique. And people would often come back to me saying, wow, you made me think about this profile. I wasn't expecting to have to think about those details. So it really helps because you can see who's more serious because they took the time to go to Discover Love Matches is where the business is at. And it's all very clearly step by step. And then in that funnel with Smart Match, it's nice because it tells you right away that you have a new person. It gives them their immediate, follow-up email. And then we have the system where we do it. They do a chemistry chat, 15-minute Q&A, answer questions if they want to just do a free call. But then the program is our 90-day introduction date. And what I really love about this, it was something that came to me a year ago when I said, okay, to my angels, I'm like, okay, I want to be able to sell this. I want somebody else to keep this. How do I make a business that somebody else can do? But also something that's a little bit more high intensity, snap, crackle, pop. Because as a matchmaker, usually memberships have been 1 to 2 year programs for most matchmakers. And I was like, okay, how do I create an executive level service in a high concentration amount of time, still charge well, but also just hone in on what I've got for that person and get some results? Because I feel like a lot of times the longer term process can be draining and exhausting on an emotional roller coaster for certain people. So by doing the 90 days, I'm a big believer in what you do today shows up in 90 days. So it's something I've lived by for a long time. With the Smart Match software, I was able to create, everyone has different member levels. And inside, I love it where if you're an executive client, there's different tags. One says active introductions, one says decline introductions. And then there's a tag if we have somebody we want to run past you ahead of time. But basically what ends up happening is a new client hires the agency for 90 days. Then the matchmaker meets with the new client, finds a million things about them, then goes to the SmartMatch app to see all of the match suggestions, picks out our favorites. Then we have a little hidden category that says pre-match options. So anybody we think that they should meet, we move into a little secret category that only the matchmaker can see in the software, which makes it really nice. It's my own little subcategory. And then make that list. And then we confirm. We basically do Monday and Wednesday nights. We do a little window of time to do introduction dates. And it's great. It's just a half an hour. We get them on and we introduce them. They get a little breakout room. They chat. They share what they learned. But then they come back to the matchmaker 24 hours later and say if they're interested or not. If it's a mutual match, then they get access to see each other's profile because it's so beautifully done in the software. If it's not a match, we just move to the next person. No information is exchanged because as much as matchmakers are so great at matching what you want and checking your little wish list, chemistry wins every time. So I decided to stop fighting chemistry and just say, okay, let me just give you what you want, but I'm going to let you look and talk to them to see if there's something there before we exchange information. And this allows where we're just literally every week, we're introducing our clients to somebody new. And then if it's interesting match, then they can take it to where they start chatting because your chat box makes it really nice to do that. And then The only way the other person can see the profile is if we move it to active introduction. If we have it still in the pre, no one can see it. If we put it to declined, then only the high-level client can see the profile and not the other person. So that's
Yeah,
customizing your magic software.
thank you. We were just called Magic Software for the record.
Yes, I will say I worked it.
I hope our team, especially all development team in the back, can hear this, guys. Congratulations. It's nice to hear that, you know.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, Jacqueline, your communication, your emails, your approach, just to us, you treat us like it's nice, you know, to hear good words, kind words. You know, we are there in the technical trenches, if you wish, technical trenches, you know, coding and figuring out. We're trying to make software very customizable. It's nice to hear just kind words. You know, I use it. I find your features are useful. You take the time to apply them.
Right.
What you just referred to, just for everyone, it's our member portal. So our member portal allows you to do all these wonderful customizations that Jacqueline is explaining. That you can use the mutual match status. If two people are mutually matched, they would be then given the information of the profiles. If not, then they won't see each other profiles. So she customized SmartMatch for her business workflow that not only saves you time, you know, but also creates this engaging environment for the clients, right? I mean, they literally are not wasting time if there is no you know, like you said, if there's no chemistry, there's no, so they're just talking to the perfect matches, right? And you're able to do, you said you're able to process introductions every day this way, right?
Every week. So every week for the most part. And it's a 90-day program. So they're getting it for the 12 weeks. And in that package, we include coaching. Yeah, I'm a big believer in coaching. Some matchmakers don't do coaching. I'm a big believer. So we include email advice and 3 one-hour coaching sessions. So we can also talk them through because, you know, as a matchmaker, you know your people beyond the drop-down menu. This is just, I always say to everyone, this is just how we organize. This is just how we keep it together. Because when I first started my business, I just had a whole bunch of white notebooks on a shelf. And people just filled out a bunch of paperwork. And then eventually I made a membership software kind of work, but people were always like, it's really clunky. The pictures didn't come up very big. You couldn't really categorize them. So I took a while to start with yours because it was a bigger investment, but then time is saving and I made money from saving the time. And it was more user friendly where clients would come on and they were more apt to fill out the form because it was there. So it was worth the investment. And it allowed me, you know, I have this one level for the high level executive investment. But the great part is right away your clients are seeing results. Even if they're declined, even if they like somebody and the other one doesn't, they can see more about the person you picked for them. And then you obviously have your match details so you can see how it lines up. But you're also not wasting any time because having a matchmaker, you're only meeting the people. First, your matchmaker, which most people's picker is broken. So letting a matchmaker do the picking is really smart. It's also, let's be real, this is what's available in your community. So that matchmaker is able to show you what's available and bring that forward and then help you see that they're more than their profile. But it's still, you know, you get nervous, you're cautious, but the software pulls it together. And that's only one of the levels. I have a second level I do that's kind of a mid one where I let them pick matches, but I make a select list and it's so much fun. And then they move them to the different categories. And it's empowering, but each stage of the journey, it's tied into how I can use with the software to complement, but it keeps people organized. Plus, you've got that great little note section where now that I have the new owner, I've been going into ChatGPT and like brain dumping, you know, doing a little audio message and saying, put it in notes for my new owner. And then I can paste it in the folder. So the new owner has so much more information about the clients than they would have before because of all the little subcategories you guys have in SmartMatch.
I have to take a pause. It's a lot. It's inspiring to see you're actually using the SmartMatch so much and customizing it to exactly to your needs. And there's several levels how you match. So first of all, you pick the matches, you move them for the clients to log in. and to view the profiles. So there's two, and then they have to get a mutual match. There's a
Right.
second level of screening, or if you wish, or matching going on before they actually get a mutual match, right? So
Exactly.
there's
Kind of a double edge. Yeah. So basically, there's the one package where they hire us as their matchmaker, and then there's people that are in the database. So we have a one-time fee consultation. They're just in our list. They have to pay a fee to get on our list and get an hour appointment with us. And then once they've done that, then they have their profile and it's just hanging out. It's waiting for a high-level person to hire us. So database people don't get to meet database people. You got to get a high level person hiring, and you never know when you're going to get called. So it's like, hey, somebody wants to meet you. They jump on those responses. They're excited. And so all of it's done with no information exchange. And then we set up the virtual introduction date. And then when it's approved or not approved, then we move the profile. So you've got that kind of all in one package. That the only way it's seen is if they both agree. And they both have to verbally tell the matchmaker, yes, I'm interested. No, I don't think so. Or can we talk about it a little bit? So it's a thought process versus just, right now I feel like I got to follow up with this person I've been texting and I'm not interested. We do the breakup. We do he's not interested. Let's move to the next person. Nobody dwells. There's no awkward moments because we keep it clean.
no awkward moments.
Yeah.
How many awkward moments have you got in dating life, right? In a dating. How many?
Exactly.
All of us. I know.
Everybody. And
Everyone.
how
Please watch.
many? And I just keep it clean. Like there's no point to really get into somebody who has no interest. And the best part as a matchmaker doing these introduction dates is that I actually got to learn so much more about men's perspective in dating and relationships than I ever thought. I mean, I will as a matchmaker, the male clients I worked with helped me get over all of my annoyed, past relationship viewpoints because the men showed up raw and real and vulnerable. And I was like, women, you are missing the boat. There are so many beautiful, wonderful, caring, dynamic men that want to love. They're just tired of being taken advantage of or hurt. So I was their perspective because I could see and they would get feedback. And the authenticity is so beautiful.
Can you give me? Oh, no, we're not gonna end this interview anytime. not anytime soon. Now, I'm a man. I'm so curious right now to hear the top 3 at least. Give me, please, top 3 perspectives that you have learned about men. Let's say in my age group or whatever. Like, what are those? You said like it's just changed your entire perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It was amazing.
So what is it? Top 3.
Yeah.
What are the
Working
things?
with men, it was like, and women, because a lot of matchmakers only match men or only match women. And then a lot of matchmakers don't do any coaching in between. And I feel like they're missing the other perspective and the angle and the balance. And so because of that, and the clients would always really open up to me and tell me where they were coming from. The truth of how many times people will say something like, I'm just really busy. I'm sorry, I really can't date you after all. And then they send me a message and say, I'm just not attracted to them. And the amount of people that actually, it drives me crazy now because I now know both sides of the stereo going, where people say things to that effect of like, oh, I didn't really like this one trait you have. And I just think we're at different stages of life. And then they would message me something to the effect of, I didn't find her sexually attractive, or I didn't like, how she does her days, or she just doesn't, her laugh is weird. Like it could take as little as something like that. And then they'll make you think that, oh, you need to be more available when that really wasn't the problem. The thing is, they're just not attracted to you. And that's all there is. There's nothing more to do. And that's the hard part, is that women tend to grow with attraction. Men do also. We don't give men enough credit, but men are a little more visual creatures with attraction than women. But I'll tell you, women are getting a little more feisty as the years go on. They're getting a lot more like, I need to want to turn my head. So I'm always like, who makes you turn your head? You're sitting at a coffee shop with a friend. What kind of person walks by that makes you take a double check? That's part of the energy. But also, what kind of relationship do you want? And I never knew men wanted to love as deeply as they did until I became a matchmaker. I absolutely knew that men cared and were compassionate, but I never knew how badly men had been hurt and how much they really wanted to love a lot deeper. But society makes it really hard for men to feel validated, to show that side. And unfortunately, a lot of women have chewed up a few too many men, and they just walk away, and the man still holds space for a love that didn't get resolved. And so that was important to me, to find that balance for both men and women.
Gentlemen, if you heard what I just heard now, you should go find Jacqueline. You should her website. I will tell you where in a
Yeah,
second.
all that good
And
stuff.
you should go, yeah, if you are experiencing the same problem, and I can relate to that problem, yeah, you should go get yourself, hurt. You should go and, apply. Apply. Don't wait. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. There is love. If you have been hurt, or if you have not been heard, absolutely, this is your chance.
So true.
If I was single, I would be like typing now somewhere in the chat here, like, well, do you have a calendar date available? No, but seriously,
It's very true.
it's so important to pay attention and to solve this. Love is everything. If you can know, if you can remember, if you can start loving again, if you can learn to love and experience love, everything changes.
So powerful that, I had a conversation over the weekend. I was telling some people that are like, I just really want to find my person. Where's my person? Why haven't I found him? I look at my 15 years of matchmaking, and the people that found love walked into that dating with the expectation the person they were dating was a relationship. We're stuck in a world of dating and casual and making he didn't do this fast enough, so I'm not going to go out with him. And all these little tests and all these deadlines and all these aspects, where overall, all the success couples that I've worked with came in with an attitude of like, oh, okay, you said I'm supposed to go out with him. I'm going to trust you. I'm just going to enjoy this experience. And the relationship began. It's the people that are still so guarded, and they're constantly pushing and pulling and prove to me, why should I go out with them? Or, oh, he did this one thing, I don't like him. And they're just so honed in on pass fail behavior instead of co-creating something in a relationship. Teach the other person how to treat you. Let the other person learn from you. Grow together, but trust your matchmaker. When they have the right intentions, so many beautiful things can happen. And we've just gotten lopsided from what it means to be in a relationship. They're just too caught up in the dating and society saying how all men are horrible, all women are not showing up and caring, when no, there's actually this amazing world of gorgeous, dynamic, successful people.
There's an amazing world, and unfortunately the media and the movies, we all talk about recent movies, and which movie, which movies I'm referring to, the recent materialist movie and everything. Yeah, society tells one thing, but I think that if you're single, you definitely should take it into your own hands and find the people that can help you. So let's wrap up, because I think we can always do a follow-up show, and I think we will, because there's a lot to unpack. Today we already unpacked a lot, so let's just break it down into two sort of direction. If you are a matchmaker and you would like to learn from Jacqueline how to build matchmaking business, how to use the technology we talked about today, SmartMatchApp technology, the database, it's much more than the database. There is a lot of automations and workflows and member portal features, website form, website integration, triggers, automations, all of those things you can implement in your business. You don't have to necessarily do it from scratch and try to figure it all by yourself. We have the software. Jacqueline knows how to use the software, and she is opening consulting business. And I think JacquelineNichols.com is where they can reach you. So you can reach out to her and she will help you. She will consult you, build, and even exit your matchmaking business when you're ready. You don't have to exit it. If you love it, you can, you can just keep doing it. But if you want to take it to the next level, you can absolutely, and I know this, I'm saying this because, I know that Jacqueline said okay to me to do that. So you can reach out to her. Again, JacquelineNichols.com. And that's one direction. So please use it. Please connect, collaborate, learn, and grow. The other one is the matchmaking for singles. So if you're single and if you're inclined to open up to
Right.
spiritual teachings,
Yes.
to spiritual angle of matchmaking, or to maybe even join even a community, right? It looks like you have built a community of
Very
people by
much
now
so.
who are interested in the spiritual angle, the spiritual
Mhm.
angle in matchmaking, which is unique. I have to say to you,
Yeah.
first time for me.
I was going to say, do you have any other spiritual matchmakers that have angels pick their clients' matches? I figure I'm one of
Matchmakers
the
are
kind.
wonderful people. They are in many ways and many times they are spiritual people.
But
They
yes,
have to be. They have to be.
completely.
They just maybe don't position it like that, they don't necessarily position it as a spiritual matchmaking, but
Mhm.
they do a lot of coaching, a lot of dating coaching, a lot of
Yes.
hand holding,
Great.
therapy. It's a tough business, isn't it?
It can be. It can be a lot. So it's learning, having systems set up, but trying to design and develop it all is a lot. And then it's setting up boundaries so you don't spend too much time on one client. You keep yourself in work-life balance. That's a big thing. I'm very passionate. My new owner has been like, I can't believe how much you've taught me to stop working so much, and when to turn off the clock, and when to tell the clients to expect from you, what are the boundaries. And it's important to have those clear set up from the beginning, but most matchmakers don't, because we lead with our heart.
So for the singles who need that, how do they find you? Is this also, can they go to the matchmaking business website? What is the website?
This is just the JacquelineNichols.com will have everything there. If they are in Oregon or Washington in the United States, go to discoverlovematches.com. That's where the new owner is. And I'm still working with her. So I do have people, I can do a spiritual session and then tell her with the information I got, and she can pull up the matches and do the coordinated work.
And that will be your system. That they will be now, if they go to discoverlovematches.com, they will
Yes.
get that your school. It's your
Right.
school.
All my stuff, now it's hers. And she's being taught through it. And she's doing everything to the T of what I do. And the clients are loving her and doing great. And so, she doesn't have to have my spiritual gift, but she is intuitive. She's very aware, but all the systems are in place and ready to go. And so the clients are loving it. The response has been huge. They're so grateful of our transition and the process that we're doing. So therefore, the story and the love journey can continue, even though I won't be full-time on it.
Amazing. Well, I think that it's in your hands now. Gentlemen and ladies, it's in your hands. You gotta do what you gotta do. You have to reach out, you have to make decisions and take actions. I did what I could. I got Jacqueline here on this video to share her wisdom, to share her story, a unique perspective. I personally enjoyed this conversation.
Good, so
Thank you
did I.
so much for your generous time. And again, congrats on your success in this industry, on your success with the business. I'm happy to have been part of this,
Thank
a
you.
small part of it, the technology, matchmaking technology part of it. Thank you for being generous with your feedback. Look, I would love to do a follow-up on this and maybe talk about your new journey in the JacquelineNichols.com journey with all your courses. I'm pretty sure you're in the process. So maybe once you have some more updates for us, we can go ahead and update everyone in the industry, all thousands of our followers and connections. Let's do this if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You see, I got the commitment.
Yes,
So
completely. I think it's important to see what's next, and that's what everyone keeps asking. And then knowing that the matchmaking is continuing just under another leadership, it helps, because now I can take my next round of passion projects that I've had brewing for years, that I'm ready for the next thing, and so I can have peace with this one and let the next stage happen.
I can't wait to talk about the next thing. So let's save that for the next time. Thank you again, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks. Bye.